When did it become accepted that comics don't end? Well, those are the OG ones, so. The real question is, when did comics start ending? Why end something that's printing money? The only time comics end is when they are cancelled. As long as the character is popular, they will be published. Once a character loses popularity, they will be cancelled, but can be revived down the road. Comics are never ending in a way. Because if comics ended their characters, you've got to keep inventing new characters to keep your comic company going, and if the majority of those characters don't take off, then you won't have a comic company. And with existing popular characters, you can keep reinventing and doing spin-offs based around those characters. But in a way, comic stories do finish because, for example, Batman is an enduring character, but it's not a single story which has been running for 100 years, but many different stories. Why end something if people still like it? I'm not a comic book person, but to my knowledge, these comics do end. Batman and Superman are characters who have many series. They got rebooted and reimagined times and times again. The Batman comic book series that's ongoing right now is not the direct continuation of the Batman comic back from the 40s. These superheroes are like mythical figures whose stories get retold again and again, with new lores added to them from time to time. When you say comics don't end, are you meaning the characters ending like a death, or that the storyline instead are multiple comics telling different stories that end using the same protagonist and antagonist? The stories do end. You think it's been the same story for 100 years? When they started minting money, raking moolah or whatever. It's capitalism. As long as people keep buying something, studios will keep making it again and again. Money talks more than words, and people hating on things online like needless reboots or sequels are being massively outweighed by the people who keep spending money on these things. Studios listen to money, so as long as people keep buying DC comics, they will keep making them. The appeal is that new creative teams can always be cycled in and come up with new stories with these characters and universe. The Hulk has been around forever, but when Al Ewing came along 5 or so years ago and wrote the greatest Hulk story ever, Jonathan Hickman wrote the greatest Fantastic Four saga of all time about 15 years ago. Who knows how many great stories with this universe have yet to be written? To simply close it off forever because people like you arbitrarily think it feels better to end is a waste. There are many comics based on soups and bat. Many of them had their ending and many will have. Not every comic that is still ongoing is endless. There were even ends of whole universes of multiverses in both DC and Marvel here. God willing, we'll all meet together in Spaceballs 2. Search for more money. Mel Brooks edit : spelling. This is def pushing on the border of stupid question despite the title of the sub. It's incredibly boring to me, maybe just not my thing, but I just don't see how you can be invested in a character when the repercussions just get undone in a later issue or some BS crossover. Don't think about comics as a work of fiction, think of them as a business. And the closest business comparison to comic books are magazines. Magazines aren't intended to have an end point. Their goal is to keep selling issues every month. Magazines are able to mix it up more, but they still have to find new writers, artists, and material to fill the pages. Comics function the same way, just with a narrower scope. It's kind of like a TV series. If the plot is still good, most people don't want it to end. It's something to look forward to on a consistent basis. Yes, it is capitalism as everyone else is pointing out. However, it also allows us to continue enjoying something. Like Batman? Well, hell, there are decades worth of stories. Some worth reading, some not. The nice thing is that a lot of them are one-off issues you can read on their own. Others are long-connected stories with other issues. There's lots of never-ending stories that aren't exclusive to comics.